Good vibrations. Okay. We're sending out some
good vibrations. Hey there.
Good stuff.
Hey, Nancy. Dance with us.
Woo!
Hey, Mom. Dance with us. Hopefully you can hear it.
They probably can't, but we could be singing. That may scare them. Okay, I think we can bring her down. Dance tune over.
Okay.
All right. Good morning.
Back to the morning show.
Yes, here we are.
We figured out it's day 12 we've been doing
I
this.
told her that we probably needed to stop putting the number on
No
there.
way.
But now she's written it on the calendar, so I can't keep forgetting. Hey, Terry.
Hey, Terry. Did you miss our dance party we had?
Yes. Good vibrations.
I got to make sure you guys can hear the music because then it's more fun. So
here we are. Hello,
Hey,
Stephanie.
Good
back
to see you.
east.
Wow.
Yes. All right.
I love it.
So today.
Hey, Terry.
Hey.
We have been doing this show for 12 days, and we're here at 10 Mountain every morning.
Yeah.
And we even had to move something around so that we could be. It was an interview with somebody important. We're like, we got to do our morning show.
We did tell them that yesterday, but they know.
Oh,
But
well,
anyway.
not everybody's the same. So.
Okay, that's true. All right. Hey, ladies.
And
we're the ladies.
Yeah.
I'm just reading this,
So we wanted to, this is just designed to give a little bit of contact, a little bit of tools for you while you're going through this whole piece, and hopefully some inspiration. And I think you had something you wanted to share about your mom.
Well, there was a few things that have just really touched me because I got to admit, I make some mistakes in my sense of well-being. Like I get up and part of me says, don't read the paper, don't read the paper, don't read the paper. Then I read the paper. And then it's kind of like realizing that right now some of that is like the Dementors. And
if you're a Harry Potter fan.
If you're a Harry, but it can just, I can feel it suck the soul out of me and I don't stop myself. It is literally like, and but today I did a Gestalt. We'll maybe talk about that in a minute. But instead of doing it with my pain or my thing, I did it with my resources. And one of the things that came up for me, and a Gestalt is having a conversation with yourself or a part of yourself or something like that. We can tell you more later. But it was so cool. My resources were like, one, I want you to know, I know what a Patronus is and I know how to use it.
These are all Harry Potter terms, so if you're not a Harry Potter fan.
You may not know. But too bad. This is a great time to maybe read the first books of Harry Potter. They get a bit dark in the end, but I still love them.
Or watch the movie.
But I started to think of the things that were inspiring me. And one of them was my mother's 92 and she's in a what kind of
long-term care,
assisted living, and she has an apartment, but they've been quarantined now for a while. It's in Seattle, and but my sister was telling me that there's a few of them up on her floor in their 90s that kind of do their own thing every morning. The youngest of them knocks on the door of each of them to give the signal, and they all come out well spaced and do their exercises with their canes and their things,
their walkers,
and I was so touched by that. I was just really moved when I heard that. Good morning, Tina. So that was something that, and there have been a number, like yesterday I just sort of broke down crying, and CrisMarie was right there with me. So it was just I felt so supported by her. And
so we wanted to talk about why, maybe you're, some people may not seem like they're affected by it, but you could be talking faster. You could be trying to get more organized. You could feel more like, oh, I want to collapse and just be in bed, or I need to stock up, which is mine. I want to stock up on chocolate and wine to make sure I have enough, because our governor just announced yesterday that Saturday we're going to be more contained, more stay at home.
Actually, I don't really think we change a whole lot, but it's official now.
Yeah, it's official. I mean, we've been doing that, but I think when I heard that news, it was another level of rattling my cage. And and to notice those things that do get in, like Susan reading the paper this morning, that kind of rack your sense of stability. And you're not crazy. What happens is we are in the middle of this
Pandemic.
And it activates your amygdala, which is your fight, flight, or freeze part of your brain, and you get hijacked by it. And so that's what, and it's got two settings: bear, like, oh my God, I'm going to get eaten by a bear, so I better run or fight, or no bear. And it's kind of an ancient system, so it's not very sophisticated, so it kind of turns on. And what starts to happen now is we are bear, 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 bear. We're you know, whether it's the governor saying something.
And truthfully, we were that before. We are a culture that has thrived on adrenaline. And if you're in the business world, you've probably been doing it for a long time. So, just to be clear, it's just now really loud. Bear, 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 bear.
And I want, you know, those things, because what happens is you get flooded with adrenaline and cortisol, and it interrupts your cognitive abilities, how steady you feel emotionally, physically. And so if you're feeling like, oh, I can't spell, or I just made a big mistake, or whatever, I just sent an email to the wrong person, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But you're 100% normal human being. Like, we are responding the way our wiring is designed.
It's probably more natural that you would respond this way. If you're not having some of those types of reactions, there's a good chance you really have numbed out and probably compartmentalized a little too much. So.
And that doesn't mean your body isn't responding, even though you're conscious. You may not be aware of responding to anxiety. Hey, Jason, but your body may be responding. And so there are some things that you can do to interrupt that and bring yourself back down that curve. And breathing is one of those things that we can consciously control, because usually our breathing gets shallower, our heart races, and we can't control our heart rate, but we can control our breathing, which can bring our heart rate down.
Yes.
Were you going to say something?
Well, yes, but I forgot what it was now. So hello there, Jason.
Hey, nice people. And I wanted to say, one of the things that, and there's a longer post about this in my feed if you want to read it. Hey, Lindsay.
And I think originally sent out by Carol Ames and forwarded. So
it's by Rose Hunter. It's written by a woman that writes about anxiety. Her name's at the top of the post. And the idea is that we are in unprecedented times. And so even if you're not aware, your body's still responding. And it's happening because anxiety is more contagious than the virus itself. And so we really need to take conscious action to insert and also do things that are bringing you comfort, whether that's watching Harry Potter movies or reading kids' books or eating cake. Hey, Judah and Sharon.
But be careful to make sure that you're actually doing things that bring you comfort and not just your usual addictions, because, there's addictions are like, for me, sometimes if I just get on my Peloton to ride, sometimes that's a good thing for me, but sometimes it's like running for me. It can be, I remember when Ben, any of you know, Ben used to say to me, you running and all tight like this is probably not the best thing in the world. So he'd suggest I run down the road like this. Mm-hmm. And so now when I'm using when I get on my Peloton, I really check, am I doing this? Is it actually bringing me a sense of dropping in my body, or am I just racing through my body, racing through the experience? And so pay attention to that. Like, do the things that bring you comfort, that help you. When we say comfort, we mean help you drop in and connect to yourself or to another or to the world around you.
Because in these times, we can actually lose a sense of connection. We're being asked to physically isolate, but we can lose that sense of meaning and purpose, or the bigger arc of your movie. Like, this is the movie of your life. This is just one scene. It may be a little longer than you thought, but
and you may not even realize some of the things you're doing. Like I have a very strong expression on my face that, like, I go out and I forget to smile at people. I forget that I can smile at people. And I'm reminded that that's an old pattern of mine. And so I really have to remind myself, no one said you couldn't smile. No one said you couldn't connect. Drop in and recognize that those were old armoring protective devices. And I don't need them right now.
And so give yourself a way to move the energy, because that fight or flight response, if you can't exercise at home, that's one way to digest that energy, but the movement is actually what shifts the whole nervous system. Movement, and we interviewed Katie Hendricks. We talked about this yesterday, and she gave some movements. I think we showed
showed you the movements.
So if you want to know those, watch yesterday's day 11, and you'll see those movements to help move that energy through you.
And hopefully we're going to get her interview out sooner as opposed to later, because it really was helpful for this particular time. So, hey, Diane.
I love seeing all you people. So, one, we just want to normalize if you are having, anxiety is more than just mental. It's physical, emotional, cognitive. And so be gentle with yourself. Do things that bring you genuine comfort. Even taking a bath or cuddling with your animals. Something that's tactile is very helpful.
Yes.
And
the other thing I was going to say is we are working on the Power of 8 group. It may we have some things that those of you that signed up will be getting some information. So yes, want to let you know that I'm a little behind my schedule though. Believe it or not,
it will be kicking off this weekend.
Yes,
so you'll get more information.
And
about
I know
that.
some of the times may not work for you, but I still love that people were interested and engaged, and hopefully we can make it work.
Okay.
Okay.
Until tomorrow.
Take care. Bye.